You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 153.1, our daily report on all things Central Indiana sports and a tiny bit of national sports news.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we are proud of you for making good choices. Today is January 19th, 2025. It's a Sunday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. I am coming to you today from headquarters in Jeffersonville. Producer Susie is in the control room. Sorry, we've had a bit of network issues the last couple of days, and I've taken the opportunity to be lazy. We will be back to normal starting in the next couple of days. We will have our girls wrestling state finals report coming up on Monday, and we should have plenty of previews for Monday night's college football national championship game with Eric and Ryan Robinson and with Will Rutherford. It was a quiet Sunday locally, but I'll have updates on IU's women at home against USC and the NFL playoffs. Then I'll preview the week for our local high schools and colleges, and we'll talk about some other stuff as well, mostly looking ahead to next week. Before I do that, please go like, subscribe, or follow us on your favorite podcasting platform so you don't miss a single segment. We are now at YouTube. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report, and we are easy to find there. Please go subscribe to our YouTube page. In our only local sporting event Sunday, IU's women hung tough with number 4 USC, but Juju Watkins and the Trojans extended their winning streak to 13 games with a 73-66 win in Bloomington. Watkins finished with 22 points and 6 rebounds in the win. She was one of 5 Trojans in double figures. Sydney Parrish led the Hoosiers with 16 points. IU shot just 37.5% from the field and made just 8 of their 29 three-point attempts. USC is now 17-1 overall and 7-0 in the Big Ten. USC and number 1 UCLA are the last remaining unbeatens in the Big Ten. The Trojans are at 7-11 Purdue on Wednesday. Indiana is now 12-6 after suffering back-to-back losses. They go to 14-5 Oregon Friday and 13-6 Washington on Monday. The Final Four is set in the NFL. Washington will be at Philadelphia in the NFC Championship next Sunday after the Eagles beat the Rams 28-22 Sunday afternoon. Buffalo beat the Ravens 27-25 in the final game of the divisional round Sunday. Mark Andrews dropped a potential game-tying 2-point conversion with 1:33 left to help the Bills hold on for the win. They will now try to take out 2-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City in the AFC Championship at 6:30 Sunday on CBS. Washington-Philly in the NFC Championship game is at 3 on Fox. The Eagles opened as a 5.5-point favorite in the NFC. The Chiefs opened as a 1.5-point favorite in the AFC. If that were to happen, it would be a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago. Washington hasn't been in a Super Bowl since they beat the Bills in 1991. That year, the Redskins beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. It was the Bills' second of 4 straight Super Bowl losses. That was the last time they were in the Super Bowl, was 1993. The Indiana Pacers are headed to Paris to face Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs in a pair of games Thursday and Saturday. In Paris, the Pacers are 15-4 in their last 19 games, the third best record in the league over the last 19 games, trailing only league-leading Oklahoma City and Cleveland. They're now 24-19 on the season, 5th in the East, a game behind Milwaukee for fourth, and 3 games behind the Knicks for third. The Spurs are going in the opposite direction lately, despite Wembanyama's ascendance. San Antonio is 19 and 22 after losing 3 straight and 6 of their last 7. In his second season, the French star is averaging 24.5 points, 10.8 rebounds, 4.1 block shots per game, which easily leads the league, and 3.7 assists. Thursday's game is scheduled for 2 p.m. and can be seen on NBA TV. Saturday's game is noon on ESPN. Both games can also be seen on the local FanDuel network if you're lucky enough to live in an area where you get that. The Indiana Mad Ants are 7-4 and tied for fourth in the NBA G League Eastern Conference standings. They had their 3-game winning streak snapped Friday by Wisconsin and head to Tempe to face 5-6 Valley Suns on Tuesday. The game can be seen on ESPN Plus at 9. Their next home game is at 6 o'clock January 28th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse against the Motor City Cruise. The new women's professional volleyball team, the Indy Ignite, is 3-0 all-time as a franchise after winning in 5 sets in Columbus on Saturday. They are off until Friday when they play the 2-2 San Diego Mojo at 10 p.m. That game can be seen on YouTube. To some college basketball, 14-5 Indiana had a great bounce-back win Friday at Ohio State, 77-76 in overtime, to improve to 5-3 in the Big Ten. The Hoosiers are in Evanston Wednesday to face 11-7 Northwestern. The game is at 7 and is on the Big Ten Network. 3 of IU's next 4 games are away from home. In the next 2+ weeks, they have trips to number 17 Purdue, number 24 Wisconsin, and number 12 Michigan State. Speaking of Purdue, Purdue's men's basketball team is 15-4, 7-1 in the Big Ten, and ranked 17th in the nation, and about to move up after going unbeaten on a West Coast trip and winning their last 7 games. The Boilermakers host 10-8 Ohio State Tuesday in their first of 3 straight games in Mackey Arena. Some early week local schedule highlights in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and northern Hamilton counties, both high school and college. In girls basketball, it's really the final full week of the regular season. There are a few games next week, including some potential big ones, with conference championships on the line for Alexandria in the CIC, Sheridan in the Hoosier Heartland, and Pendleton Heights in the Hoosier Heritage. But this is really the final big week of full schedule of girls basketball. The CIC is likely to be determined on Saturday when 19-1 Alexandria goes to 18-1 Oak Hill. Before that, however, the 2A number 3 Tigers have to get past 7-11 Mississinewa on Wednesday. On Tuesday, Pendleton is at Lapel, Western visits Northwestern, Frankton is at Yorktown, and Oak Hill puts its 14-game winning streak on the line when it visits Marion. Elwood has a chance to get wins number 12 and 13 when they host Tri-Central Wednesday and Westell on Thursday. Very light week of boys basketball before the weekend. Big one Tuesday when Frankton hosts Taylor. The Eagles are 4-7, but are expected to have a big second half of the season. Taylor's 12-1 and one of the toughest games remaining on Frankton's schedule. It's the second of 4 straight home games for the Eagles. That's one of only 4 midweek games this week. Also on Tuesday, 6-6 Eastbrook will look to stay hot against 2-7 Daleville, and Mississinewa is at winless Wabash. On Wednesday, Anderson Prep will play for its 9th win of the season when the Jets visit 2-7 Union. Friday's big CIC game is Blackford at Frankton. The Bruins are on top of the CIC at 3-0. Also, Pendleton Heights is at Delta. Oak Hill looks to remain unbeaten in the CIC at Alexandria. Western hosts Maconaquah. Kokomo is at Muncie Central, and Marion's at Jeff in a couple of big NCC games. Ball State's women put their unbeaten conference record on the line Monday morning when the Cardinals host 12-4 and second place Toledo at 11 a.m. on CBS Sports Network. The Cardinals have won 8 in a row, including 80-57 over Akron Saturday. The Rockets have won 4 of their last 5 and are 12-4 overall. Ball State's men have lost back-to-back games, including 93-75 at home against Toledo on Saturday. They've lost 3 in a row following a 4-game winning streak that had people talking about Ball State potentially contending for the MAC. The Cardinals are at 8-9 Central Michigan Tuesday at 7:30. That game can be seen on ESPN+. The Anderson Ravens have won 7 games in a row and host 12-4 Franklin on Wednesday in a clash of 2 teams tied for first place in the Heartland Conference. Both the Ravens and Grizzlies are 8-1. Anderson is 13-3 overall. The 8-7 Anderson women are also at Franklin Wednesday after beating Manchester and Earlham in their last 2 games. IUK is back in action Thursday when it goes to Alice Lloyd in Kentucky. The 13-5 Cougar men tip at 5:30 against the 12-5 Eagles. Should be a really good one. The 7-10 IUK women then face Alice Lloyd's 7-10 women following the men's game. Indiana Wesleyan's women and men have the week off before hosting Huntington in a women's-men's doubleheader on Saturday. The unbeaten and second-ranked Indiana Wesleyan women take on Huntington at 1, and the men face the 15-4 Foresters at 3. Huntington beat the Wildcats 97-88 in Huntington on November 20th. Earlier that day, the Indiana Wesleyan women beat the Foresters 81-79. Taylor's men and women are also off until Saturday when they host St. Francis in a women's-men's doubleheader. The St. Francis men beat Taylor 90-83 in November in Fort Wayne. The St. Francis women are ranked 10th in the nation and are 17-2. They beat Taylor 88-57 in Fort Wayne in November. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you for listening. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.